Dear friends in Christ, on this 26th Sunday, we have beautiful readings, amazing readings, inspiring readings to reflect on. From the first reading, we see the encounter between Moses and Joshua, the son of Nun. Joshua said to Moses, "Stop the two young men or two elders who were prophesying in the camp." Of course, the two elders were supposed to be in the meeting tent, where God gave the 70 elders the Spirit from Moses. So Moses said to Joshua, "No, I should not stop them. Allow them to prophesy, Edad and Medad." In the gospel today also, we see John coming to Jesus with the same report, saying to Jesus, "We saw a person who is casting out demon in your name. Stop the person." And Jesus said, "Do not stop." So Moses said to Joshua, "Do not stop Edad and Medad because they are prophesying in the camp instead of in the meeting tent." Jesus said to John, "Do not stop this person who is healing and casting out demons in my name simply because he does not belong to the band of apostles and disciples." Today, the church wants us to reflect on the importance of tolerance, appreciation, and open-mindedness. In Jesus' response to John, he invited him to be open-minded, to welcome, to accept other persons who may not be members of his disciples. Now, he laid down a very important principle when he said, "Anyone who is not against us is for us." It is important for us to understand the meaning of this statement of Jesus, inviting us to embrace the virtue of appreciation or tolerance. It means basically that we have to respect, accept, and welcome the ideas, the opinions, the perspectives, or the suggestions of those people who may be unique from us. The beautiful thing about how God created the world is that He created each person unique. There are no two persons who are exactly the same, which means that we may have divergent opinions and ideas even about a certain or a particular reality. We have to respect that. The truth that God has given or revealed to us is so big that no single person can say, "I have the monopoly of knowing the truth 100%. So in tolerance, we have to understand that we have to, give reverence or respect the possibilities and the various interpretations of different unique persons in their own unique way. We have to understand that as we respect the various divergent, unique opinions of other persons, we have to understand that there is a limit to everything. In the book of St. John Paul II, his Veritatis Splendor, he said that the freedom that God gave to man is not an absolute freedom. Rather, it is a freedom with responsibility. Of course, we see that in Genesis chapter 3, verse 3, where God said, "You can eat of all the trees, but you should not eat from this particular one." We should respect the opinions, perspective, and suggestions, ideas of other persons insofar as it is not a way that they are spreading rumors or spreading erroneous ideologies that destroy the existence of goodness or will lead people away from morality or lead people away from God. Insofar as people are not engaging themselves in spreading erroneous teachings and pieces of information, we should learn how to respect these persons. But as I said, there's always a limit to everything we can say or do. When we look at the teachings of Christ, after he laid down that major principle that anyone who is not against us is for us, he spoke about reward for people who tolerate or accept his disciples. Of course, he knew that he was bringing a new teaching, and many people are going to reject his disciples because they are going to teach something new. So he already prepared their mind to know that anyone who welcomes your idea, anyone who accepts your idea, the person will receive the reward from Christ, will receive reward from himself, will receive reward from God. Of course, we see the opposite of this in the second reading today, where St. James tells us that anyone who have treated other people in a wicked way or unjustly, the person will receive the reward of punishment, or the person will receive, eternal condemnation. In the gospel also today, we see Jesus expressing that indirectly when he mentioned the three things we must, remove ourselves from. cut off your hand, cut off your leg, and pluck out your eyes if they will lead you to Gehenna. Which means that every act of intolerance can bring us to hellfire. Every act of not appreciating the other person can bring us to condemnation. Because anytime we refuse to welcome, accommodate, accept, or appreciate the other person, it is an indirect way of saying that God is stupid, or saying that God did not create this person very well. So anytime we refuse to appreciate another person because of maybe his color, or because of her age, or because of so many things that we always consider morphological differences, anytime we do that, we are indirectly saying that God is an imperfect creator. And the implication is that it's an insult to God. Every insult to God merits us hellfire. That's what Jesus was actually saying, that anything that will make us to act in an intolerant way, we should remove that. There are so many other things that make us to become intolerant to people around us. It could be our arrogance. It could be our self-righteousness when we begin to think that we are more holy than other persons. It could be our superiority complex when we think that we are better than other persons, or even inferiority complex when we begin to think that, oh, I am not worthy of the other person, and I begin to separate myself from that person. We can also become intolerant because of ignorance. Because most times we tend to judge people even before we experience them. Maybe a friend told me about another friend, and instantly I begin to separate myself, or I begin to judge that person without even letting myself being that open-minded to encounter the person. Also, in ignorance, on the level of ignorance, it means that we don't know, we have not really recognized that every human person is created by God. It's an act of ignorance that I don't know that whether this person is white or black or green or blue, that this person bleeds blood, that this person has a soul. So it does not matter the age, the race, the color, the creed, wherever or whoever you are. The most important thing is that every human person is an image of God, and I have to respect that. So biases, prejudices, bitterness, unforgiveness can make us to become intolerant. Even insecurity can make us to become intolerant. Even attachment, inordinate attachment to our gadgets can make us to become intolerant, because we can begin to develop more relationship with our gadgets instead of relationship with the people around us. And that makes us to become intolerant. So Jesus is inviting us to break away, to cut off, to separate ourselves from any of these things I have mentioned that could make us to become intolerant, that could make us not to appreciate the other person, the views, opinions, suggestions, perspectives of other persons. Appreciation, tolerance, open-mindedness, these are very necessary or important ingredients in every relationship, because we came from different families, for instance. So the wife comes from a different family, the husband from a different family, but we live together as husband and wife. So we have to be open-minded, we have to be appreciative, to understand that this is the uniqueness of my wife, this is the uniqueness of my husband, that there are no two persons who are exactly the same. So we have to discover what are the uniqueness in this person and what are the uniqueness in this person. It should not make us to become insecure. Rather, we should be happy to appreciate that which I do not have, but another person has it. It's just like the rainbow. When you look at the rainbow is so beautiful. You know why? The rainbow is beautiful because of the diversity, because of the 7 colors. Individually, blue, red, green, whatever color, they are individually beautiful, but they become more beautiful when they come together, unity in diversity. And that's our uniqueness. Every person is unique, every person is good on their own, but when we come together, when we get to understand each other, understand one another, appreciate one another, be open-minded for the uniqueness of the other person, the world will be a better place. It takes only humility. Humility means creating space for God. Humility means knowing that I am nothing. I should create space for other people, create space for the uniqueness of my wife, create space for the uniqueness of my husband, create space for the uniqueness of the person, the next person I'm going to encounter, knowing that the person may have a different way of speaking, the person may have a different way of looking at the same reality. People have divergent ways of looking at the same thing that we may consider to be different. It is totally wrong to condemn the views of other persons simply because it's not your own view or simply because you don't understand it. The readings of this Sunday may raise questions in critical minds about what Saint Cyprian of Carthage said in the 4th century. Extra ecclesiam nulla salus. Outside the church there is no salvation. You may be asking yourself, why did he say that? The saying of Saint Cyprian of Carthage was contextual. And the church already, through so many teachings, especially from the Second Vatican Council, has already reinterpreted and explained that the church is inclusive, the church is not exclusive, and salvation is for all. But the salvation, the fullness of salvation is found in the Catholic Church, but it also respects the fact that elements of salvation can be found in other Christian church, even among Muslims, as we see in the Lumen Gentium number 16. This is very important for us to understand this, that most times out of ignorance, we are thinking that we are very exclusive, and this makes us not to respect other persons. Pope Pius the 11th mentioned also that people who are hampered because of so many reasons of not knowing the truth through the Catholic Church can also have opportunity for salvation. When we look also at the reality of sexual orientations, the Church in Catechism of the Catholic Church number 2357 up to 59 explains the way we should take care of our brothers and sisters who have sexual orientation different from the normal sexual orientation. The church does not say we should discriminate them, but the church says we should be sensitive and treat them with kindness. So this is very important for us to understand this, that the church is not exclusive, but the church is inclusive. Remember that you are blessed to bless.